What just happened in New York? The tennis world may have just witnessed one of those moments that makes you stop scrolling, look twice, and ask, wait, did Alex Eala really do that? Alex Eala has shocked Amanda Anisimova at the US Open, and the result has instantly turned the spotlight back toward the young Filipino star. This is not just another name on a scoreboard. It is a result that carries emotion, pressure, expectations, and a huge statement about where Eala believes she belongs in the world of professional tennis. Amanda Anisimova is a player who demands respect. She is known for her powerful game, her ability to attack from the baseline, and the kind of intensity that can make an opponent feel under pressure from the very first exchange. So when Alex Eala stepped onto the US Open stage facing Anisimova, nobody could simply assume that this would be an easy night for the 21-year-old from the Philippines. If anything, the matchup represented another major test of Eala's ability to handle the biggest moments. And then came the shock. Alex Eala got the job done. For American tennis fans watching the US Open, this is the kind of result that immediately gets people talking. For Filipino fans, it is something even bigger. Eala has become a symbol of what can happen when talent, discipline, belief, and patience come together. Every time she steps onto a major stage, the expectations grow. Every win brings more attention. Every challenge becomes another opportunity to prove that she is not simply a promising young player anymore. She is becoming a serious name in the game. That is what makes this victory over Anisimova so fascinating. Eala was not facing an unknown opponent. She was facing a player with the experience, power, and reputation to make life extremely difficult. Against someone like Anisimova, you cannot afford to lose focus for long. One short stretch of loose tennis can completely change the momentum of a match. One missed opportunity can become a turning point. One strong response, on the other hand, can change everything. And Eala found that response. Think about the pressure surrounding a match like this. The US Open is not just another tournament. The atmosphere is different. The attention is different. The crowds are louder, the cameras are everywhere, and every major point can become a headline. For a young player, that environment can be overwhelming. But Eala continues to show that she is willing to step into that pressure rather than run from it. That mentality is becoming one of the most interesting parts of her story. When Alex Eala first began attracting international attention, many people saw her as a talented young player with enormous potential. But potential is one thing. Turning potential into results is another. Professional tennis has a way of exposing weaknesses quickly. You can have a great forehand, a powerful serve, excellent movement, and incredible confidence, but none of that guarantees success when the pressure is at its highest. You have to learn how to compete. You have to learn how to recover after mistakes. You have to learn how to stay calm when the other player is playing better. And most importantly, you have to believe you belong there. Eala's rise has been built around that process. Every big match gives her another lesson. Every difficult opponent forces her to adapt. Every victory raises the level of expectation. And every setback creates another test of her character. Now, beating Amanda Anisimova at the US Open adds another chapter to that journey. For Anisimova, this is obviously a disappointing result. But for Eala, it is a statement. It says that when the stage gets bigger, she can still find a way to compete. It says that the pressure of playing one of the sport's biggest names does not automatically overwhelm her. And it tells the rest of the tennis world that if you overlook her, you may regret it. That is probably the biggest takeaway here. Alex Eala is no longer playing only for experience. She is playing to win. And that distinction matters. There is a huge difference between entering a major tournament hoping to make a good impression and entering believing that you can take down established stars. The first mindset is about survival. The second is about ambition. Eala's recent rise has shown signs of that second mentality, and this US Open result gives her another reason to believe. But let's not get carried away either. One victory does not suddenly guarantee a deep run. Tennis does not work that way. The next opponent will bring a completely different style, different strengths, and different challenges. Momentum can help, but momentum can disappear quickly if a player loses concentration. That is why what happens next may be just as important as what happened against Anisimova. Can Eala recover physically and mentally? Can she maintain the same level of focus? Can she handle the growing attention? And can she turn one huge upset into an even bigger run? Those are the questions now surrounding the Filipina star. For fans in the Philippines and Filipino communities around the world, this moment has an emotional meaning that goes beyond tennis. Seeing one of their own compete on the biggest stages of the sport creates a sense of pride that is difficult to measure. Eala represents a new generation of Filipino athletes who are stepping onto international stages with confidence and refusing to be intimidated by famous names. And that is why every major Eala victory feels bigger than a simple win. There is a connection between the player and the people watching her. Fans see the hard work. They see the pressure. They see the emotions after difficult points and difficult matches. And when she produces a result like this, they feel like they are part of the journey too. That is what sports are supposed to do. They create moments people remember. They create stories people share. And right now, Alex Eala has created one of those stories. Amanda Anisimova came into this matchup with her own reputation, her own experience, and her own ambitions. But on this occasion, Eala found the answers. She stayed in the fight, embraced the moment, and delivered the kind of result that can change the way people talk about a player. Suddenly, the conversation becomes different. Instead of asking whether Alex Eala can compete with the best, people start asking how far she can go. Instead of calling her a future star, people start wondering whether the future has already arrived. And instead of seeing her as simply a young player from the Philippines, the tennis world is being forced to pay attention to Alex Eala as a competitor who can create real problems for established names. That is a massive shift. The US Open has always been a tournament where unexpected stories can explode overnight. Players arrive with expectations, but the court has the final word. Rankings can tell you where someone stands on paper, but once the match begins, none of that matters. The player who handles the moment better has the opportunity to walk away with the biggest result. This teammate, at player was Alex Eala. And honestly, that is what makes tennis so addictive. You never really know when the next breakthrough moment is coming. You can predict rankings. You can study form. You can analyze styles. You can look at previous meetings. But once the players step onto the court, everything becomes about execution, confidence, resilience, and the ability to respond when the pressure reaches its highest point. Eala responded. She took the opportunity. And now the US Open story has changed. The question is no longer simply, can Alex Eala compete at this level? The question is, what happens if she keeps going? Because this victory over Amanda Anisimova could become much more than one exciting result. It could become another milestone in the development of a player who is rapidly becoming one of the most fascinating young stories in tennis. For Eala, the job is not finished. There is still more tennis to play, more pressure to handle, and more challenges waiting. But whatever happens next, she has already delivered a message that will not be ignored. Alex Eala is here. She is competing on the biggest stage. She is taking on established names. And now, she has shocked Amanda Anisimova at the US Open. So, what do you think happens next? Is this the beginning of a deep US Open run for Alex Eala? Can she keep this momentum going against whoever comes next? And has she officially reached the point where the tennis world needs to start treating her as a genuine threat? Let me know your prediction in the comments. If you are an Eala fan, this is your moment to make some noise. And if you love stories about breakthrough athletes, massive upsets, and the moments that change a career, make sure you stay tuned, because Alex Eala's story is clearly not finished yet.